Hey guys, what's up? It's AppleCritics from AppleCritics.com, and I have an exciting video for you. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Apple HomePod 2, more specifically about the rumors, the news, and everything that we know about the Apple HomePod 2 so far. So the Apple HomePod 2 could arrive in 2020. So could Apple be on the verge of releasing the HomePod 2, a smaller version of its Siri smart speaker? Well, that's a question that we've been asking ourselves for a while now. Now, Apple did not reveal what the next HomePod would look like at the recent iPhone and Apple events, but the HomePod 2 could be on the horizon. So more than a year has passed since that iPhone XS launch event, and the iPhone 11 launch saw no new mention of the Apple HomePod Mini, so everything is pointing to a 2020 release date. Now, the speculation is that the next version of the HomePod, the Apple HomePod 2, could be a more compact version of the original, with the name Apple HomePod Mini being the rumored name. So according to a new report by Bloomberg, Apple employees, despite now working remotely, are going full steam ahead to get the company's 2020 slate of products into the hands of consumers. Now, the usual iPhones and MacBooks are accounted for, but interestingly, the report suggests that 2020 will see the debut of the HomePod 2 smart speaker and the new Apple TV set-top box. Now, some thought that we might have heard an official announcement at Apple's WWDC keynote on June 3rd instead of the company's announced multi-user support coming in to the Apple HomePod this year alongside handoff and the ability to share an audio stream from an iOS device just by holding it close to the speaker. Now, the new features are expected to arrive alongside iOS 13. Now, that new feature came in iOS 13.2.1, and we thought we would know by WWDC of last year that all the info about the HomePod, but that did not actually happen. So with the news of updates coming to the original HomePod, a 2019 release for the HomePod 2 looked less likely, especially since it was not announced at Apple's iPhone 11 launch. So the original HomePod actually has been on sale since February 2018 and has so far met with mixed reviews. While people praised it as a speaker, when it comes to the capabilities as a smart home hub, there was no question whether it's worth the rather high price point. Now, with some reports claiming that the sales aren't doing particularly well, the stage could be set for a HomePod Mini. And though Apple is yet to make any confirmation, we have heard a few whispers about it. A cheaper and smaller HomePod could be exactly what the brand needs to draw in those who have yet to be convinced. Now, we've already seen how well the Google Home Mini and the Amazon Echo Dot have done, so it would make sense for Apple to follow suit, regardless of whether it's in the works or not. Now, this is exactly what we'd like to see from the HomePod 2 or the HomePod Mini if it ever arrives. Now, here are all the rumors that we've heard about the HomePod 2 or the HomePod Mini. So first, we heard that Face ID and 3D gestures will be a part of the new HomePod 2. So a recently filed patent by Apple suggests that the second generation smart speaker could support Face ID. Now, according to Mac Rumors, the patent describes a quote-unquote countertop speaker that could, quote, identify users in the vicinity of the speaker using facial recognition, as well as measure the distance of users in relation to the speaker. Now, the patent also explained the countertop speaker would be kitted out with various sensors and cameras that gather hand gestures and other three-dimensional gesture input. Now, having Face ID built into the Apple HomePod 2 could provide an additional layer of security for users, as well as allowing for multiple user profiles with each other identified via facial recognition. However, Mac Rumors also identified a rather unusual potential feature of the HomePod 2 in the patent, and it was a quote-unquote emoji-based avatar that would adapt to a user's mood or actions, perhaps even mirroring your emotions. So that alone would be really interesting. It would be cool to have Face ID in the HomePod and make this part of the HomePod right here more usable and more interactive, rather than just being able to play music on it and just control the music with that. It would just be cool to see at least some facial recognition and some more interactive parts of the speaker at the top, since there is more than enough room to program something or have it integrated into iOS 14 to make it really unique. Now, having like 3D gestures I could just swipe over the top or something like that would be super cool, and I would definitely be welcomed, and that would be good to see. Now, in terms of stereo sound, the HomePod 2 smart speaker could sound even better than the original if the new patents granted to the tech company are anything to go by. So Apple has a patent for multi-listener stereo image array, describes a system where multiple people can experience a stereo audio effect regardless of whether they are seated or not. So that is a really cool patent that Apple applied for. So that could be really good to have some even better sound than the actual HomePod does. Now, there is potential for some Beats branding. Now, one of the more recent rumors around a new HomePod came from a Chinese tech firm called Sina, stated that there would be a cut price HomePod with Beats branding in the works. So we haven't seen a great deal of Beats branded releases since Apple purchased the company in 2014. So this might be a chance for Apple to revive the name while positioning the reportedly floundering HomePod to a brand new and perhaps younger audience. According to the report, the new HomePod would cost around $199, which is in line with the previous rumors and would go some way to combating the criticisms of the speaker's high price point. Now, this is a report which should, however, be taken with a fistful of salt. Now, the first report of the mini HomePod came in March 2018, only a month before the HomePod's release. So there was a report from the Economic Daily that Apple was planning to release a more affordable HomePod at some point in 2018. It was rumored that this cheaper HomePod would launch in the US in the second half of 2018 for around $200, which is significantly lower than the device's current $349 price point. Now, in this report, it was made clear how Apple was actually planning to lower the price of the speaker, but a brand new and smaller Apple HomePod Mini could be the way to do this. Now, what I would want to see from the HomePod 2 would be Bluetooth connectivity. Now, sure, smart speakers are all about voice controls and the fact that they are standalone devices that don't need to be hooked up to another audio source in order to play back tunes and podcasts, but sometimes a few added options are just convenient, especially if you're trying to play back a track for whatever reason that can't be found on the smart speaker streaming service or of choice. Now, sure, smart speakers are all about voice controls and the fact that they're standalone devices that don't need to be hooked up to another audio source in order to play back tunes and podcasts, but sometimes a few added options are just convenient, especially if they're trying to play back a track for that or for whatever reason can't be found on the smart speaker's streaming service of choice. Now, it may not be cutting edge in the smart speaker world, but there's still an odd occasion when Bluetooth connectivity would be useful. And in the case of the HomePod 2 or the HomePod Mini being tied to Apple Music, that'd be particularly useful for anyone looking to access, say, Spotify. Which brings me to my next point, which would be open the HomePod to other music services. If you buy one of the current Apple HomePod speakers, you're essentially locking yourself into the Apple audio ecosystem. So iTunes purchases aside, roughly $9.99 a month for a single Apple Music streaming account, or $14.99 for a family account. So that's fine if you already own an iPhone and have other Apple products. And Apple Music is a fine service, definitely worth investing in. But if you're already committed to Spotify or Google Play Music or any other of the myriad smaller streaming, that would definitely be a frustrating restriction. Now, by knocking a few bricks out of the walled garden and letting other services have a look at what the Apple HomePod could do, that would easily expand the user base and increase the sales. Now, it'd also be great to have more color options because the Apple HomePod is certainly an attractive speaker with the fabric mesh, because the Apple HomePod is definitely a nice looking speaker with a fabric mesh covering the cylindrical size of it, but it would just be nice to have more color options and bring some and more personality to it. Now, Siri performance could be a lot better because it's not on par with the Google Assistant and Amazon Alexa. It just needs to have more commands and more time put into it and just make it more personal and easy to integrate into your daily life. And once you can integrate it into your daily life and it's not annoying and it gets all your commands done, that's what you want in a particularly smart speaker. So thanks for watching this video on the Apple HomePod 2 and everything you need to know. So please be sure to subscribe if you like this video. Please smash the like button down below so know you watched. Also be sure to check out all the other videos on my channel. Be sure to check out AppleCritics.com for latest Apple news, views, and more. Like my Facebook fan page at facebook.com/AppleCritics. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/AppleCritics. And also be sure to follow me on Instagram at instagram.com/AppleCritics. And be sure to subscribe for more great content. And thanks for watching.